In 1998, I was pretty ill during Christmas because I couldn't sleep from the anticipation, but I managed to open up one of the last boxes and there was Half-Life. I loaded it into my PC and suddenly I didn't feel so sick anymore. I'd instead entered this state of shock, actually. It was so unlike anything I'd ever seen before as I watched this tram speed through this high-tech facility. It was so cinematic and different, and from that point onwards I knew that this was going to change games forever. This is the revolutionary science fiction shooter Half-Life, and its impact on the industry has had repercussions which are still being felt today. Half-Life focuses on a story-driven experience. Prior to this point in time, most shooters were about collecting keycards and eventually finding a door which leads to the end of the level. There were fragments of stories, but the way levels and scripts were designed didn't allow for much plot progression as such. That being said though, I think Unreal, which was released earlier in the year, also showed marvelous signs of this transition with similar effects throughout gameplay, and to another extent System Shock with its objective-based gameplay. Half-Life changes the base structure by making a singular, on-the-rails way to experience things, also making the game very movie-like while doing so. Anyway, Half-Life is about a series of disastrous events which occur at the Black Mesa Research Facility in New Mexico, sort of in Area 51, where scientists were researching teleportation technology. As MIT graduate Gordon Freeman, you witness firsthand the horrors which occur in a test chamber where an experiment goes horribly wrong. The catastrophe results in opening portals to an alien world, and the facility becomes severely compromised. With only a crowbar and a hazardous environment suit, it's up to Gordon to brave the alien menace and survive. True to what I was talking about earlier, you'll witness events changing as the game develops. What I really admire is the way that the game doesn't resort to lengthy and forced cutscenes, well, aside from the opening. There are only a few moments when you have to pause during the game to talk to some friendly scientists. It makes the game more mysterious and atmospheric. Many of the things you have to pick up on yourself, and there's a massive strength to this. It doesn't sacrifice interactivity for anything. You can keep moving at your own pace and indulge in the narrative. I've mainly explained how the gameplay of Half-Life works. It's entirely linear, but cleverly scripts itself to be as action-packed and exciting as possible. The speed at which Gordon can move is incredible and makes for some really spectacular firefights and platforming. Half-Life achieves a perfect balance between simple jumping routines and intense battles with enemies. There's also decent variety between weapons and enemies, introducing them as you go. You'll be whacking away at a head crab with a crowbar 1 minute, and blasting at a helicopter with a tower cannon the next. This is a really simple and effective level design because it keeps the pace in check. No searching rooms for keycards. I don't think that Half-Life was graphically a breakthrough. Unreal was an astonishingly good-looking game at the time, making it difficult to compete. I still enjoyed the differences in environments. Some of the changes in setting throughout the game are somewhat unbelievable and exhilarating, just like Unreal. I'd say that it's mostly limited to steel corridors, but there are many moments when you just see things which are bizarre. And now to the music, as if this game couldn't get any better. It's a masterful score and there's no other way of putting it. The music adds so much atmosphere to the game. The electronic style wholly fits your encounters with technology and aliens. There are moments when the game remembers what it's about as well, action. When you're about to fight a ludicrous number of enemies, for instance, cue the rock music. The way you just jump into the action is an awesome feeling. Half-Life was really a breakthrough in games, and particularly shooters. It switched to a cinematic style of gameplay which retained most of its interactivity in the process. It was a glorious time to play shooters when this, Unreal, and Quake were all spectacular offerings, and now it's responsible for sequels, Counter-Strike, and numerous other mods. If you haven't played it yet, you absolutely should, because it will be a massive throwback to a time when shooters were fun, classics, and not Michael Bay films. If you enjoyed this game, make sure you get Opposing Force, the expansion.
Why do we all have to wear these ridiculous ties?